So good afternoon all of you. So all we had lunch now and everyone must be thinking should have some kind of siesta, right? After lunch, it's obvious everyone has their own way of lifestyle and would like to have some kind of rest, but I think we had enough rest and refreshment also. So since in the forenoon we were learning about why we needed the SDGs by Dr. A. Raghu, the objectives, the behind reasons and the behind steps of doing this to bring the Ayush systems of medicine to certain standards. Definitely we are not reaching the helm of the affairs, but still we are evolving and we are trying to improve the Ayush systems, since the Ayush systems being given the separate ministry as Ministry of Ayush in the way back 2014. Since then, Ministry of Ayush has been trying in every step to bring all the systems, the traditional systems, alternative systems, homeopathy into one big umbrella and to bring it uniformly across the country to every physician, every faculty, every student, so that the system can be standardized in different aspects. That's why we have different branches. We have research council, we have national institutes, we have colleges, we have National Commission of Homeopathy, NCIM, various standards like pharmacopoeial organization, everything is there, everyone in their own aspects are trying to develop standards. And similarly, in clinical practice, we do many things. We have many literature in our homeopathy from our ancestors, from Western world and from Indian homeopathic practitioners. But still we lack standardization, because homeopathy, we all know, is a person specific medicine. It cannot be a person suffering from OA, a person suffering from RA may not have the same medicine for 3 individuals. There may be different kinds, and you all are here, the learned clinicians with much experience of repute, and you have your own vision of practice, your own intuitions and your own gut feeling. If I am not appropriate, gut feeling really matters when we prescribe, based on our accumulated knowledge. But to do all this, because when we were developing these SDGs, CCRH was given the task by DGHS to Ayush vertical of DGHS to develop SDGs, not by themselves, but by bringing into a pool of physicians, academicians and researchers into one go, so that whatever SDGs developed here are uniform and appealing to one and all. There may be students, there may be very new practitioners, there may be experienced practitioners. But still, this is, I will say, this is a dynamic document. I will not say it is completely ripened. It is not ripened and it may not ripen also. It is still evolving, it is still dynamic, and there are many steps to go ahead. Because in the last session, Dr. Ritika presented on 3 SDGs: osteo, rheumatoid arthritis and cervical spondylosis. And this session I will be covering lumbar spondylosis, fibromyalgia and adhesive capsulitis. Why these SDGs? Because Dr. Raghu has clearly told these are the musculoskeletal disorders which are commonly being presented to a clinician. There may be ankylosing spondylosis, there may be other kind of diseases, but the common is the common. The common is the common and it has to be dealt commonly. So in this way, this has been conceptualized. Second thing, there may be differences of opinion and we welcome all the differences here through feedback or through your post training sessions, through emails, so that whenever there is a chance of improving these SDGs, we will definitely take into account all the things. But I would like to say, because I am dealing with this, I am coordinating this development of SDGs from CCRH, and we have been facing many challenges when we are trying to develop. How it will be simple, because homeopathic system of medicine is not so simple, it is very complex dynamics. Still we are challenging, still we are facing the question of plausibility, how the medicines are acting. So in this scenario, we are trying to get the complexity into simplicity. We are trying to define it, make it as simple, no doubt, not at the cost of the principles of homeopathy. Because in market, we know there are lot many compounds, complex homeopathy, mixed homeopathies being flooding everywhere. And definitely the private practitioners, they do use it. And they may get good results, they may not good results. But all are not research tested. All are not research tested. Like in the Western world, there are some complex homeopathy which are being tested systematically to pharmaceutical companies and they are being utilized. But when we talk of homeopathy, the founder of homeopathy himself tested so many things, and finally he went for the quinine test, that is cinchona bark proving on himself, and he could found the law of similar, similibus curanter, and thereafter the homeopathy. But still there is plausibility questions in homeopathy. So we have tried, it is not that we are definite, we have tried how best we can translate the modern practices and homeopathy in one go, in a very bringing the complexity into simplicity. We may not be complete in itself, definitely we need your feedback, and as far as I know, all are learned here and they know all the aspects of diseases. You may think this to be a refresher and you may think this to be a touching stone, just kind of reorientation regarding the SDGs, why they have been developed, the answer you all know. So I would like to focus only because my next speaker is again a modern medicine expert who will be focusing on all the conditions. He will touching all the clinical aspect, everything. But because every musculoskeletal disorder, if I would request to share your experiences, you will be knowing no one is dealing only with homeopathic medicine. If anyone is treating only with homeopathic medicine, can raise their hands. Any one of you only with homeopathic medicine, no other treatment modalities, no other non-pharmacological modalities, no other exercises, nothing you don't suggest. That's what I am telling. It may be non-pharmacological, it may be pharmacological. I am asking, you are not involving anything, only you are giving homeopathy. Anyone doing this? No. If I say yes, for patients, you don't ask them for exercises, anything. I am telling, it may be pharmacological, it may be non-pharmacological. Right, sir, that is absolutely right. So only medicine is not enough.
Yes.
See, if we have all read practice of medicine, we have all read SPM, social and preventive medicine. The preventive aspect, there are 4: primordial prevention, primary, secondary, tertiary. So in similar lines, we have tried to segregate level 1, level 2 and level 3. And primordial is what? The initial stage of disease. When a patient comes, we try all things and we tell you simply take this homeopathic medicine, so that the pathology may not progress or it have a delayed progress. That is what our thought is as a aphorism 1. The highest mission of the physician is to restore the sick to health or to cure. May not be possible to cure, but we can try to improve the disease aspect and we can try to have restoring the health of the patient with proper prescription of homeopathic medicine, which is totally a individualized approach. So this is the logic behind, and this is the recent development. Since last 1 year we have been working on this document, especially for musculoskeletal disorders, and we have taken lot of sessions, interactions, the developers, to see that everything is in its right place, and when it goes to the grassroots level or the during training, it should be appealing to one and all. because as I told, we are here 56 homeopaths sitting. Everyone will be prescribing their own way of prescription. So, the best way we thought, why not focus on common medicines, because Government of India has already published in the year 2013 the essential drug list. Anyone has seen the essential drug list? So, most of them have seen, and the Indian Ayush IPHS, Indian Public Health System standards has been already published by DGHS. There also the same EDL has been incorporated. So, what we did is we tried to incorporate the best efforts to incorporate the EDL only. However, in Homeopathic Pharmacopoeia of India, we have 1000 medicines. So, some of the medicines, as per the experience of the clinicians, experts who were involved in the development of STGs, they suggested few medicines that we have incorporated in the level 3. So, this is the basic idea how we did this, conceptualize this, and it is in front of you with all of you the copy of the STGs. Now, I will be talking to you regarding lumbar spondylosis. Like cervical spondylosis, the degenerative changes which occurs in the lower part. Yes. So, this case definition, everything we know. All degenerative changes which occurs or affecting the disc, vertebral disc, spine, is with pain, everything is said to be lumbar spondylosis, and it is quite common in the age group of 45 to 60 years. The red light, the red markings to impress upon you the importance why it is required. With increased BMI, incident back trauma, daily spine loading, all these are the causes for this lumbar spondylosis, these are the major risk factors. Now, principles of management, because I told you now only, now my next speaker will be the modern medicine expert who will be dealing. So, touching all the things will be your time killing, and we can have quickly we complete, we can have interaction. So, best part is let me complete it, then we can have the interaction. So, because we know, we all see the patients day in and day out in a clinical practice. At the level of dispensary, at our private practice, we see. But because nowadays you must be seeing the news, you must be seeing many court cases happening around you, in your state, in your surroundings, with lot of medical legal issues. So, based on that discussions also, the experts recommended to have certain red flags, which will be a ready reckoner for the clinicians how much to treat the case. It may be appealing, suppose in your practice you can take the case, you can treat, go on treating, but when it comes to a level of document at the government level, there is always a caution which should be maintained to prevent any ethical issues in practice or any medical legal issues which may come up or crop up, which is a big headache for you and for the government also of your respective states, because the health is a state issue. No doubt central government is doing, but the major part, like Dr. Bhakre, how he told, National Ayush Mission, what are the opportunities, how you are going to submit the proposals, everything. So, health is always a state functioning. So, these are the red signs when we think whether to take the case, not to take this case. First is widespread weakness or loss of sensation. There is strong slow onset of neurological symptoms which make the patient difficult to walk, to stand, difficult hand and foot movement, difficult bladder bowel functions, any lower motor neuron signs, negative Babinski sign, weakness, postural deformities, any suggestive of cancer, AIDS. So, and very recent history of surgery with some complications. So, these are the situation where you should rethink whether to treat the patient or what all things to be keep in mind when you prescribe a patient. So, patient education and history taking is, as we know, as a homeopath is very important and these all things should be kept in mind while we take a case. So, patient and always we have to educate the patient. That is the first and foremost duty of the doctor. Medicine prescription is not the foremost duty, but patient education is the foremost duty of the doctor. So, in all the MSDs, this is the thing which we have given stress upon, that is patient education. Patient education about the lumbar spondylosis diagnosis, what is the natural course of lumbar spondylosis, pros, cons, everything, and what all things should be done to help alleviate the symptoms of the patient who is coming to seek some relief from your medication or from your therapeutic advice. Like lifestyle changes like exercise and maintaining good posture when sitting and standing. Reassurance, self management with some advice on weight control, yoga, exercise, all involves patient education and care. And if pharmacological therapies are required at all, or the patient is coming to you with some pharmacological NSAIDs, painkillers, do we need to abruptly stop it? We should taper off. So, that is the norm. Why we have written everything? Because you are experienced, you know everything, it may not be important to you, but you are going to retire sometime. No one is permanent in this earth. Everyone has to have its own day. And a new refresher comes, it will be a good reckoner for them also. A student who is just passing out or he is doing internship in their respective colleges, if they are given these standards, so they will be having a startup. Now we are having startups. So, they will be having a startup which will help them to tune their mind, because what we have learnt we have to unlearn and we have to relearn. This is the process every one of us follows. So, sometimes it is very tedious for us to accept what is being done, but still I would request we have to imbibe in ourselves and we try whoever, suppose you are a very good practitioner, sir. A student comes to you and he wants to get experienced from your experienced knowledge. Definitely if you guide them in these lines, they will be also alert in their clinical practice, and thereby they will also try to get evidence. See, CCRH is a research body, but the onus comes to all the 3 lakh homeopathic doctors across the country. Am I right or wrong? In CCRH we have only 100 research officers, only 100. And what is the population of India? And how many doctors are there? Is it the only onus of CCRH to contribute to evidence? No. There are different levels of evidence, if I say, and if anyone knows the pyramid structure of evidence, there are different levels. The initial is your book, grey literature, and your clinical case reports, case series. The second level is your cohort studies, single arm studies. The third is your RCTs, and the highest is your meta-analysis, systematic reviews, and thereafter next level is standard treatment guidelines. Based on all these evidences, we develop the standard treatment guidelines or standard practice guidelines, clinical practice guidelines.
Ma'am, sorry to disturb you. Can we send you the clinical cases treated by us?
See, for that I have answer for you. For that, you need not send us. There are different journals, like in CCRH we have IGRH, Indian Journal for Research in Homeopathy. CCRH has developed HCCR, Homeopathy Clinical Case Repository. You need not pay anything for IGRH, because nowadays journals take much money as a publication charges to make your article open access, but for IGRH there is no publication charges, but the effort you have to do as a author, you have to document the case properly. I am answering, I will tell. You have to document properly, you have to write it up, you have to submit, you have to go through the peer review process, and definitely you will be immortal. Why? From henceforth, whenever your paper is published, it will be cited, it will be quoted everywhere across the world, because it is open access, it is Scopus indexed. In this way you can contribute to the evidence of research. If I tell CCH want to conduct a study on ankylosing spondylosis, how many of us are able to document it, treat it, and how many cases we see? So, there are different levels of research. There are different levels of research designs. It is not that we can do one thing in one umbrella. It has to be done in a piecemeal so that we can erect a full pyramid. And without your support, we cannot do that. I think I could give you answer. Yes, sir.
Ma'am, we are saying you are saying to contribute through this IGR channel. You know, it has very low impact value.
Okay.
But if we somehow we can have a MOU with the different states and UTs where the dispensaries and institutions are working with the CCR.
Yes.
Ma'am, we are losing so much of data which is available in our things. We can teach them like a small workshop on that thing, how to record the case, and you provide the performers. Because somebody
See, we have I'll answer that. We have tried that at the first go with academic institutions. Why? Because they are teaching colleges, where we have teaching hospital also. So, CCH has signed MOUs with 70 colleges as of now, and we are trying to develop the capacity building to generate, to imbibe research acumen in them, how to record, what to record. And definitely, if you are showing interest, you can write to Director DGCCRH, sir, we are interested.
hopefully he will be here.
Yeah, he'll be here in 1 or 2 hours. So you can always interact with them, and will be happiest to extend all the help. But you can take the benefit of SCCR homeopathic clinical case repository. You can submit your cases there. You can yourself document. Suppose in a year you are submitting 50 cases. Later on, you can extract those cases systematically. You can build case series and you can publish also. It also goes through a series of peer review process. Whatever you are submitting, it cannot be hayway. ऐसे हवा में नहीं. You have to submit with every document, because there are guidelines published. Publishing a case report, you have a guideline. Publishing a RCT, you have a guideline. And international forum, ICMJE, International Committee for Medical Journal Editors, they have clearly described that we have to follow certain norms, ICMJE. We have to follow norms. As your author, we have to follow guidelines, and whenever you are submitting a specific journal, I am telling IGRH, it is of CCRH. There are 99 journals which publish case reports, only case reports, 99 journals in the world. So, anywhere you can submit.
Is there any minimum number of cases per condition?
See, case report is single.
Single.
When we talk of case series, it can be 5, it can be 10, but not beyond that. Yes. Huh. See, when you are talking of submission, see, when you are talking of, 1 second, so please, we should not talk in between, so that we cannot flow and we can have the diversion of interaction. See, for every journal, there are guidelines which are to be followed, which is given in the journal site. Every journal has their own guidelines. The guidelines which CCRH is following for IGRH may not be same for the journal homeopathy, may not be same for the journal of integrated medicine. Every journal has their own guidelines, so you have to follow that one. Okay. So prior to that, no, there is no specific guidelines are individualistic to each journal. So this is the things, principles of management which you have to take care of. If the patient is already under standard care, as I told, anti-inflammatory, analgesic, steroid, the physician may advise to taper the same gradually, along with add-on homeopathy, and can be reassessed in the follow-ups for discontinuing the standard treatment in consultation with a conventional physician. Either you send them, because if it is a co-located hospital, Ayush Health and Wellness Center, you can surely send to your conventional counterpart for suggestions. If you are a standalone dispensary, you can always recommend to the nearest allopathic hospital or dispensary for their suggestions, because this brings safety to the patient and safety to the doctor also.
It should be a two-way traffic, no?
Yes, it is two-way.
Yeah.
That's why now there is it is a process, not at in the past we had done integration of homeopathy in the NPCDCS program, National Program for Prevention of Cardiovascular Diseases, Diabetes, Stroke, Cancer, everything. They where homeopathy was integrated. There homeopathy was co-located in 2 districts, one in Andhra Pradesh, one in Darjeeling, and 2 tribal districts, Sambalpur and Nasik. So, we try to do that same thing. It is under supervision because the laws itself says we are not responsible for prescribing these things. So, we have to take a safety call.
My point was that like we are being educated.
So, you can use the mic so that all can hear and participate in your question.
Actually, I just want to say the thing you are saying it should be a two-way traffic.
Yes.
Like we are understanding these kind of when we have to refer those patients to the near tertiary care hospitals or the modern hospitals. Equally, they should also be aware of the
Of
treatment
course,
type,
of
just
course.
like
Huh,
this,
huh.
about the homeopathic medical treatment available for these kind of diseases. I have examples of both you can positive and negative examples of my practice in the government sector. One of my colleagues, orthopedician, was very avid fan of homeopathy. He used to send the patients from the orthopedic OPD. And similarly, when I was transferred to some other hospital, one of the modern orthopedician was not educated about homeopathy that much.
Right.
He used to tell the patient they are prescribing some toxic medicine like mercury or nux vomica, this thing that will hamper their liver also. I want some kind of workshop for them also because they should know ours is not a material dose.
See, okay. So, so you have given the answer within your question. Lack of awareness, lack of education.
For them also.
Yes. So, vice versa. Lack of education, lack of awareness. Now, in
when
the
we are going to sensitize them. The question arises when we are going to sensitize.
that I am coming to you. That I am coming to you.
Highly we should do this and that.
See that I am coming to you. Now, see that we have, see CCH is not the whole authority to channelize, to regulate everything. We are doing in our limited way. See, we are trying to do integrated research work to different hospitals to generate research evidence. That is our work we are doing. Ministry of Ayush to National Ayush Mission to integration with different aims now. It is evolving. Ministry of Ayush has signed MOUs with aims, with ICMR to bring into integration. So, until unless, see, Rome was not built in a day. I am sorry to say, but Rome was not built in a day. Similarly, we were talking since decades, since Department of Ayush was there, 14 Ministry of Ayush has happened, but still this dynamics has been rapidly changing now onwards because of so much changes in Niti Aayog, Planning Commission, National Health Policy. So, as and when the dynamics is changing, the methods, the steps are taken differently. And something like Steve sir told, one orthopedician, he was very much proactive, he understood. Likewise, when you have been transferred, see sometimes we have to showcase the benefits, then only the other person will understand, accept. So, there are different challenges.
Madam, what I want to say is this. We are arranging this type of workshop in Delhi only. We have to arrange these type of workshops in other
That's why you
parts
are
of
the
state.
that's why you are the master trainers. That's why you are the master trainers today, because you are being trained. When you go to your
Madam, this remains limited to us only.
see
We
sir,
have not been given the ground to,
that's what sir,
to
see,
deliver to others.
that's what I am telling sir. Something I cannot tell because this is beyond my scope.
Excuse me, ma'am. I have the answer for sir's question. Nowadays, National Medical Council (NMC) ने वो प्रावधान कर दिया है सारे MBBS को 7 days का आयुष इंटर्नशिप कंपलसरी है. The MBBS students are coming to our college, 7 days इंटर्नशिप करते हैं और उन लोगों को हम यही बताते हैं. हम लोग उनको पोस्टिंग देते हैं मेडिकल MBBS स्टूडेंट्स को, and 7 days they are staying with us और सब चीज बताते हैं. अब ऐसे ही MBBS के लोगों को एक्वेंटेंस होगा होम्योपैथिक मेडिसिन से.
Ma'am, but it's not same for the each and straight.
नहीं, नहीं.
See, wait, ma'am, one second, see, MP is, see, if I talk of MP is taking extra efforts. MP is really taking extra efforts, please don't mind, and we, see, this discussion is never ending, but just few lines, yes, so it has started, the campaign has started, sir. The campaign has started, just we have to hold some patience in us, we have to wait and watch, and we have to take steps in our own level.
We just want
Madam,
These kind of workshops-
see, we can.
See, sir, this is the beyond the scope of discussion. Let us.
Madam, question,
Huh.
one question. These we can discuss, I mean, within ourselves also.
Huh.
But what is important is to, I mean, to carry this message to them that we want to, I mean, involve you people also.
That's
so
what
that
that's what I'm telling, sir.
come
Sir,
to know.
see, in the health structure, healthcare delivery system, everyone, listen to me, please. No discussions among ourselves. Otherwise, it will not be interactive, and it will. I will just skip the slides, and it will be monotonous. I'm sorry to say. Let's talk one at a time. Okay. So what you said, absolutely correct. But in the healthcare delivery system, everyone has their own respective thing to play. You being a practitioner, clinician, and also medical officer, we have accumulated the knowledge with your long service period. We as a researcher, we have accumulated some knowledge of trialist, a methodologist. Maybe your knowledge, when it converts, will have some more better output. So there are many things to do. So whoever interested, they can, because our disease is coming, you can always interact with them, you can give your feedback, suggestions, so that next level we can plan appropriately. Next.
Ma'am, sorry to disturb you once again. Could you please guide us that to whom we are supposed to give this training in the field?
So that
Who
is,
will be our supporting staff?
sir,
Because
doctor,
they are
doctor,
going to ask us.
I will-
when we go to the field.
the answer-
कि आप क्या करके आए वहाँ जाके?
सर देखिए सर, वो आंसर मेरे पास है. I will just let you know. It is the forte of Ayush vertical, DGHS and Ministry of Ayush, because Dr. Bhakre was there in the morning today. He gave some inputs through NAM. Wait, I have not completed. Through NAM. So there are many things. CCRH is not moderating this one. CCRH is not coordinating, not organizing this. CCRH, the resource persons have come because they have contributed in development of SDGs to sensitize you all, how this has been developed. That's all. Now, whatever you are giving us inputs, that can be communicated to take up further action. But it is not our part to deal with. Try to understand the situation. So, whenever, because in the next
But
speaking,
we have already sensitized by your lecture. The thing is that.
so I will stop
As
it.
soon, no, ma'am. As soon as we will go to the field, our bosses.
That's what I'm telling,
our
sir.
bosses are going to ask us.
Please, sir,
in-
please hold on. Please hold on. The next, in the concluding steps, there will be Dr. Raghu will be there, many other representatives will be there. You write the questions, you pose to them, and you will get an appropriate reply. Just hold on and try to ask them.
The post
और-
is the याद नहीं है बिल्कुल सर. These are spontaneous questions.
नहीं, ये नहीं है ना, इसके रिलेटेड आप बताओ ना.
मैम जाते ही हमारे से
चलिए,
हमारे
ठीक है.
बॉस से पूछेंगे कि
सर,
आप जो training
मैंने
में
आपको
क्या है,
बोला ना
किसको
सर,
देंगे?
सर मैंने आपको बोला ना, आप ये क्वेश्चन नोट करके दीजिएगा. थर्ड सेशन में जब एक्सपर्ट्स होंगे फ्रॉम रिलेवेंट मिनिस्ट्रीज एवरीथिंग, दे विल टेल you if you ask me, I cannot give you the correct answer. Try to understand. I cannot give you because this is not my area of work. I have my own defined work area. उसके बारे में पूछो, I will tell you. Okay. So prevention management, what we have to do, we have to always educate. Along with that, we should guide the patient and suggest them to avoid excessive physiological and psychological stress, to have good healthy body weight through balanced diet and regular physical activity, maintain good posture while sitting, standing, avoid bending, forward bending, exercise, jogging, running, jogging vigorously because it affects the spine. Avoid carrying heavy bags and lifting heavy weights. Avoid trauma to the back. Avoid smoking. So these are all things we know. Proper ergonomics in the workplace. Sitting posture, your chair, everything matters. So these all things are the preventive aspect. Now coming to homeopathic treatment. So I think this is a matter of debate. Still, we have tried to pull the most important medicines which will be amicable to one and all. With that, we have also given how to do, what to do, and what type of totality we have to do. This all we know. The medicines are listed here, which are the very common medicines. The constitutional polycast remedies have been outlined. And what do's and don'ts, as we usually prescribe and advise patients. Don't take 15 to half an hour before taking the medicine or after taking the medicine. And also to avoid restraint like camphor, menthol, which is written in organ of medicine. So these all things has to be taken care of with all the red flags in mind, so that we may not improve, but we should not do harm to the patient. Our priorities do not harm. If we see the ethical guidelines also, the first line is please do not do harm. You may not improve, the patient may be status quo, but the patient should not be harmed. That should be our first priority. So recommended dietary lifestyle, we all know, because weight, how we can reduce the weight by taking fibrous diet, reducing carbs, that is the sugars which are refined sugars, and should have a exercise but not too much stretchy and too much extending time, so that it hampers the spine. Wear comfortable low heel shoes, firm and flat surface for sleeping, and the posture. See how many of you are sitting in a good posture here. If we talk, so this is a trend and this is a norm. So this we have to practice, we have to educate ourselves, and we have to educate the patients. And these are the various exercises recommended, and the method, how much to do, how many times to do, how much to hold, all has been written, but we have to go through, like pelvic tilt, knee chest, cat cow stretches, hamstring stretches, bridging. So these are the common exercises which not bring regression but improve the patient's quality of life. And these are the some yoga asanas which should be, because yoga is a non-pharmacological management and it can be amalgamated with any system of medicine. So ministry is also being campaigning, embarking, promoting yoga in every field, so that with non-pharmacological intervention we can improve the quality of life as well health of the patient.
Asanas are to avoid, you can say
No.
preventive. These are the preventive asanas.
These are the prevent. See, we have written,
Not doing in the pain, these kind of asanas.
it cannot do, but something, suppose we are doing 10 times, right? Here we have written 10 times, repeat everything 10 times. To start with, you can ask the patient how much you can hold the pain, like 2 times you can do, you do it 2 times. Depending on, it should be modulated to the patient. It is not that to every patient you will be telling, नहीं आप 10 बार ही करो, नहीं वो नहीं होता, आप खुद ही करते हो. जब हमें चोट लगती है हम कितना कर पाते हैं, हम भी अपने आप को मॉड्यूलेट करते हैं, being a physician. So similar way, the patient is also a human being, so it has to be modulated case by case. So these are the asanas, and as usual what Dr. Ritika has did, similar way we have to follow for 7 days, because earlier we had written 15 days, because we know someone was asking homeopathic medicines act differently and with different nature of homeopathy. Some are very chronic, silicea, what someone was telling, but we had written 15 days. But again it was discussed at length and breadth, and he told the better is the follow up, some kind of relief you will get, 10%, 5%, 20%. It is not, the patient will not improve at all, but some percent of improvement you will get. It is your judgment. जैसे हम पूछते हैं ना, क्लिनिक में आता है तो 10 आने में कितना हुआ, 100 रुपये में कितना हुआ, 110 में कितना, जस्ट रैंडमली. नाउ इट इज़ रेटिंग इज एवरीवेयर. अगर किसी को फ़ोन भी करते हो ना, रेट करो भाई कितना हुआ, तो सिमिलर वे, तो क्वांटिटेटिव अप्रोच, क्वालिटी को आप क्वांटिटी में कन्वर्ट करते हो. सिमिलरली आप पूछते हो ना पेशेंट को, आप अपने आप पूछते हो, तो दैट इज जस्ट रिटन. आप फॉलोअप करो कैसा है, क्या है पेशेंट का, उसी हिसाब से यू हैव टू जज. यू आर द बेस्ट जज. आपके जगह मैं बैठूंगी, आपका पेशेंट देखूंगी, नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि आपने एक रैपो बनाया पेशेंट के साथ. देयर इज ऑल्सो इंटरपर्सनल रिलेशनशिप विच प्लेस वाइटली व्हेन यू डील द पेशेंट. उसके बाद रिफरल क्राइटेरिया. रिफरल क्राइटेरिया के व्हेन देयर इज नो रिस्पॉन्स टू ट्रीटमेंट, देयर इज एविडेंस ऑफ इंक्रीजिंग सीवियरिटी, कॉम्प्लिकेशंस, इफ देयर इज डायग्नोस्टिक अनसर्टेनिटी, हमें लग रहा है कि पेशेंट को HIV भी हो सकता है, हमें लग रहा है पेशेंट को कैंसर भी हो सकता है, सम अदर थिंग्स, पैथोलॉजीज आर देयर. Based on your accumulated clinical experience, your judgment, your theoretical knowledge, all comes into play when you decide for a referral criteria. जैसे uncontrolled, because when you talk of lumbar spondylosis, it is again a specific, usually 45 से ऊपर लोगों का होता है. यंगर एज ग्रुप में भी आजकल एक बन गया है, बट स्टिल इट इज़ इन द मिडिल एज ग्रुप. तो स्वाभाविक सी बात है कि मिडिल एज ग्रुप में we have diabetes, we have hypertension, we may have cardiac disease. So, all these things somewhere play a role in bringing or improving the patient's health.
Spinal anesthesia is also one of the main.
Yes,
Yeah.
like जैसे आपका nowadays C-section is a norm, and usually the ladies, the women complain of pain. So that is one of the norms.
But the modern side they don't believe in that thing. They say
It's a
this is
misnomer.
इसने misnorm.
misnomer.
In some cases it is there, but usually what happens? Some cases,
No, in rural sector they just relate the things.
yes, but sometimes
I underwent LSCS, so I got the back pain.
see there is misnorm also. Sometimes because of the anesthesia, everything, there is some side effects. It comes.
Will be there.
Sometimes it is not always really established, but is this causal relation may be there. So at level 2, when it comes to 10 to 20 bedded hospitals, so what is the management? Because when we talk of solo physician, we always think of the person who is sitting at the corner of the country, where there is no facilities or very minimal facilities, which can be done through X-ray only. Now when coming to CHC, we think of 10 to 20 bedded hospitals, which has little more improved version of investigations, your diagnostic facilities, everything. In that scenario, you can ask for further verification of the patient's diagnosis in terms of hemogram, X-ray, MRI, C-reactive protein, these all things may be possible. Out of these, some may be there, some may not be there, but you will be having an added step of clarifying with your investigations. And management, as we described in level 1, the same thing will be following, the same prescriptions will be there, because as per the IPHS guidelines, if this has to be followed, every dispensary should have around 243 medicines, all biochemics, few ointments. It is mandatory process. When it comes to the health and wellness center, the medicines are somewhat curtailed. It is in the IPHS. I think that document is there with all of you. I think everyone has seen. In there, it is in the appendix, it is given at length and breadth. What type of medicines, all are listed. So accordingly, we have to, somewhere we have to adjust ourselves and follow. And apart from that, we can have some physiotherapy, lumbar support, spinal manipulation, traction, everything. And the same refill criteria as per the judgment of the physician, how best the patient is being getting improved, how well he is based on his quality of life, will go to the next level of treatment. Now here, sometimes what happens, because of lack of diagnostic facilities at level 1, we may refer the patient to level 2. From there, after everything is done, your medicines have worked, the patient is improving, there you can have also reverse referral. After all the facilities, diagnostic criteria being whatever you have suggested the patient does, the patient can come back to you again for next level of treatment. Like as a practitioner, we tell the patient, "Aap ye kar lo, wo kar lo." They bring with them to us the reports. So this cross referral is always a good system to make the patient safe. At level 3, we have more advanced facilities and where we can have more integrated management. At that point of time, we have to follow whatever managements being described in level 1, level 2, and along with that, we have given some kinds of specific remedies, specific like Nafalium. No doubt it is not a specific, it is specific and it is very commonly with every practitioner, but still as per the experts we said we should not repeat the medicine at every level. If I articulate all the medicines listed in these 6, it is around 70 medicines been listed. I will, the therapeutics is there at the end of my presentation. It is around 70 medicines being articulated spread throughout the stages. So it is expected all the medicines will be there, because we all know we cannot differentiate. This is a limitation and we have to accept. कोई 30 देगा, कोई 6 देगा, कोई 1M देगा. यहाँ पर ये भी बोला जा रहा था कि आप LM potency भी रखो at practice level. तो हमारा वही था, सर, we don't know what is going to happen. So let's it be open ended. अब कुछ भी potencies रखो. Day to day the government guidelines are changing. Currently the essential drug list, it focuses on only on centesimal potencies, decimal potencies. There is nowhere mention of LM potencies. So it is very difficult, and the management of LM potencies is also very difficult. You have to have so many things, your bottles, distilled water, everything. the practitioners who are doing private practice, they usually manage, and that too in Odisha, West Bengal likewise, but it is not a common practice across India. So, we are silent about the medicines also, the potencies. On a safer side, anything you can do of your choice. You should not, आपका हथकड़ी बना देंगे, बोलेंगे आप हाथ हिलाओ बढ़ाओ, तो नहीं कर सकते ना आप, तो इसीलिए वो सारा ओपन एंडेड रखा हुआ है. Now coming to fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is a very common thing, but it is always left undiagnosed. Why? We don't diagnose it properly. There is a fixed criteria fibromyalgia, and it is known as fibrofog. Fibrofog, why? Fibro is fibromyalgia, fog is brain fog, because it is again associated with depression, sadness, anxiety. It is like psychosomatic disease, typical psychosomatic disease, with so many problems revolving around the patient, like a joint pains, urinary problems, skin problems, all types of problems. It is a multi-organ problem which is being presented by the patient, but there is no clear-cut diagnosis, investigational diagnosis. It is only clinical diagnosis. So, this fibromyalgia is a syndrome. It is not a condition, it is a syndrome characterized by chronic widespread pain of musculoskeletal origin and tenderness without any specific underlying organic disease pathology. Although FM is definitely primarily a pain syndrome, patients also commonly complain of associated neuropsychological symptoms such as fatigue, unrefreshing sleep, cognitive dysfunction, anxiety and depression. I think I am audible to the last? Okay, thank you. So, the prevalence in India is definitely less, but the females are more prone to fibromyalgia. It may be psychosomatic with so many things going on around them. And the age is 20 to 60 years. The red flags is if it is very, like we describe in homeopathy, idiosyncratic, hypersensitive. In the similar way, if the patient is very hypertensive, hypersensitive with lot of muscle cramps, joint and muscle stiffness, persistent headaches, GI disorders, fibrofog, depression, anxiety disorders, then you can think of always giving the medicine. See, first of all, we cannot deny the patient कि आप चले ही जाओ, depending on the situation again. आप पहले दवाई तो दो, we have such good medicines. अगर patient 7 दिन के बाद return होता है, he is feeling fine, somewhat, he or she is feeling fine, then you can continue. Else, you have to always suggest them for next level of investigations. So that what told by the Bhakre, documentation, data reporting, everything will come in a sync, because the main purpose of ICD classification, if you see the history of ICD, International Classification of Diseases, Death, it was done by WHO taking someone else's experience in way back 1940. Why they did? To have a unanimous representative of what type of mortality and morbidity the causation are coming into play in human health, behavior and disease. That is why the ICD-10 was generated. Thereafter, after long course of ICD-7, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10, in 2010 there was a plan for ICD-11, but because the traditional Indian system of medicine is Ayurveda, Unani, they have their own disease nomenclature. So, WHO in collaboration with Indian partners, they developed this ICD-11 for their systems, coding systems. But homeopathy being at par with the modern medicine, we need not have this Ayush classification, but we usually follow ICD-10, and recently because ICD-11 has come, now we have given both ICD-10 and ICD-11 nomenclature to bring uniformity in your reporting, so that one will say I am treating fibromyalgia, the same other doctor may say I am treating osteoarthritis, but the prevalence will showcase something different. So, being uniformity and pattern of seeing the prevalence, seeing the incidence of disease, the pattern of diseases which is being reported, to bring uniformity, ICD-10 and ICD-11 classification is being implemented exponentially and had made mandatory recently, because now the Ayush systems, under the Ayush grid scheme, they are trying to digitalize everything through their AHIMS, Ayush Health Information System. which is now implemented in all the centers of CCRH, and also in other medical colleges, teaching hospitals, they are trying to implement, so that AHIMS, Ayush Health Information System, through which they want to integrate the type of facilities, patterns the patient is reporting to the dispensaries, colleges, so that the policy decisions may be taken time to time and to improve the Ayush facilities. That is all. So, red flags I have told. Now, same thing, you have to educate based on your interventions, non-pharmacological therapies, everything, and the psychological part is very important here. You have to see the cognitive behavioral therapy, cognitive difficulties, mood swings, what the patient is facing, all should be kept in mind while dealing with these type of patients. Preventive management is, you have to deal with multi-pronged approach is required, because there is no sure short diagnosis, there is no investigations very specific to fibromyalgia, only the clinical presentation, the syndrome is important for you. After excluding all that investigations, you come to conclusion that patient is suffering from fibromyalgia. So, when in that case, if the patient is always obese, you have to manage the weight. If the patient is having some sadness, depression, you have to go for cognitive behavioral therapy, psychological techniques, and try to bring normal body mass index through regular physical activity and exercises. And these are the various medicines which have been pointed out, seeing the overall constitutional aspect or your polycrest medicines, which can you think while prescribing as per the totality of the symptoms. We are always reporting here totality of symptoms, because that is the sole basis of homeopathic prescription. We cannot go out of it in any ways. And these are the various exercises. These are again showcased here based on already published literature. It is not from our out of mind. We have already given, if you see the book, for everything we have given some kind of reference, so that when we read, when you read, when others read, we are in the same lines with proper referencing. So that when you are talking with your counterparts, allopathic counterparts, you are so much sensitized and educated, seeing these differences, that you are easily able to take, because in homeopathy there are very good studies done on fibromyalgia. Iris Bell, she is a very renowned researcher. She has done very good studies in fibromyalgia using individual homeopathic medicine, and also some neurological investigations on these patients. Iris Bell, the author is Iris Bell, and these are published not in IJRH, but some other good journals, all mainstream journals. And there is also a meta-analysis on fibromyalgia which shows good evidence. I think we have referred all the papers here, and this is our limitation, we cannot give the findings of these papers, but definitely if you go to CCR's site, there is a book, Scientific Framework in Homeopathy. If you can note down, Scientific Framework in Homeopathy. It is a PDF version which is available online, Scientific Framework in Homeopathy.
Published by CCR.
No, it is published by CCRH. It contains all aspects, your agro-homeopathy, your veterinary homeopathy, your systematic review, your meta-analysis, clinical conditions which have been till now researched. Scientific Framework in Homeopathy. If you Google it, you will get the PDF version. Yes, it is free of cost. It is available. You can download it, you can go through, you can educate yourself. Okay. Second thing is your standard treatment guidelines. This is one type of standard treatment guidelines, but CCRH has been contributing to STGs since 2018, and we have developed 66 conditions, but one difference between this and that is that we have avoided level of care, because we know a patient can come to any way, any type, any level of care, and homeopathic treatment do not conform with different levels of care, because we can prescribe the same medicine at different levels of care. So, we have at that point of time didn't visualize or didn't knowingly omitted level of care, because it is may not be required, but now because it is a template which has been developed for all systems, we are following that one. In our STGs, what we did, we have given touched all the points, your red flags, everything, Along with that, we have given the indications of medicines, specific medicines, constitutional medicines, everything we have outlined, and that is priced. Now, CCRJ has launched in this 10th April the STGH app. The app can be downloaded from Google Play Store in your mobile. STG, Standard Treatment Guidelines in Homeopathy application app. Yes, it is recently launched, but we are in background work we are doing, and it will be soon circulated everywhere.
What it will facilitate?
The guidelines which we have developed, that is there in all that app.
Same, this
No, not this one. The CSER in general, on 66 conditions, and we are still evolving on it. So these are the different exercises which you can think of. We can read, we can understand, and we can give advice to the patients to practice. And these are the various yoga asanas, cat cow asana, Bitila asana, so many things, child pose asana, your bala asana, so many poses are there, which again you have to practice at your level, then only you can sensitize the patients to do. At least if we can devote 45 minutes, 30 minutes a day to practice this asana, we are improving our health. Health is our forte. We have to take care of our health. So if we practice, we can make others also sensitize. See, whatever, if you can tell a person to take ice cream because you have tasted it. It is sweet, it is very tasty, and it is addictive also. So you ask, okay, you taste, this is very good. You taste rasgulla. Sometimes you taste karela, oh, it is bitter. So until unless you experience, you cannot ask others to do. Similar way, asana is like that only.
we doctors don't practice, we only advise.
Yes. It is not universal truth. It is not universal truth.
80% it is true.
Maybe, but it is not universal truth. Because Dr. Ritika sees herself a very good yoga practitioner. She practices daily yoga. I was doing, I skipped everything. So I am telling you, yes, partially.
with the majority.
Right. So what is the restricted diet? That is what we use. Red meat we have to avoid, food additives we have to avoid alcohol, we have to avoid genetically modified food, processed food, and what we have to include in our diet is yoga, good food, balanced diet. All this has to be retained, and the bad diet has to be avoided. Along with that, we have again, these are the things which is required to bring safety to the doctors. I am telling again, because it is like a medical legal document now. Anyone, anywhere can see and can take advantage or disadvantages. So everything has to be taken care when you are developing some kind of guidelines, and when we are talking of standard treatment guidelines, all things to be taken care of because for the safety of doctors and also for the safety of the patients. So at level 2 again, some more investigations to just verify that it is a case of fibromyalgia, and the medicines which are already prescribed, which are given in level 1, that can be followed. Along with that, if there is a physiotherapist, then they should be consulted for any physiotherapy, CBT, that is cognitive behavioral therapy, and the lifestyle which has been recommended in level 1, that has to be followed with follow up every 7 days or earlier as per the need of the patient. And level 3, the same thing, only some medicines have been changed. Along with this, we need to have now there is a trend of mindful meditation. There is trend of mindful meditation that also can be learned by ourselves and also teach to the patients to do it. Hydrotherapy, acupressure, acupuncture, if it is available, this also can be suggested or advised. Now coming to adhesive capsulitis, because nowadays this is very common, adhesive capsulitis, especially when there is growing prevalence of diabetes, because it is strongly associated with diabetes. So when there is growing prevalence, this is also a major musculoskeletal disorder which needs to be stressed upon, looked into for management. and it has 3 stages: freezing stage, frozen stage and thawing stage, which will be explained in the modern medicine by the modern medicine expert. And if you see this one, it is 50% people suffering from shoulder pain and stiffness presents with diabetes. So these all are the risk factors which has to be taken care of when we are talking of the prevalence, morbidity and mortality of the patients. Principles of management, similarly, if there are more gross pain, gross deformity, unexplained deformity, if there are other infections, trauma causing loss of rotation, abnormal shape, disabling pain and significant weakness, unexplained wasting, significant sensory or motor deficit, then these all things should be taken care of as a red flag when we deal with the patient. So the main objective of treatment for adhesive capsulitis is early pain relief and functional restoration.
Reducing the span of the 3 stages.
Yes. So we have left-sided, right-sided, so many, syphilinum is there, so many drugs are there. Ferromet is there, syphilinum is, yes, sanguinaria, yes, ferromet. So that we have already given here, sanguinaria, ferromet is given, huh?
STGs, these are medicine. If on the case we are getting the title from other medicine, use that.
Yes, see, we have given, I have deleted this. We have, no, if you take this page of adhesive capsulitis, if you see the heading, we are writing some of the medicines are given here, some of the medicines. There can be n number of medicines, but the common medicines are being given here.
It will not be like.
It will be, the medicine will be inclusive of the entire homeopathic armamentarium as per the ideal list, but the common, which is being commonly prescribed as by the practitioners, like you told Ferromet, it is there, sanguinaria, it is there. So likewise the common medicines are outlined here. Yes, first line. So always we have to go for the common, not for the uncommon. Now recommended diet style, it is common for everything, for all STGs, MSDs. See, it is a norm. Lifestyle changes. Now the DASH diet we usually go for hypertension, right? Fiber, high fiber, low salt, low fat.
No, we can follow the question also, like SPADI and OSS, we can follow with.
See, in our STGs, what CCH has done, we have kept another parameter, clinical evaluation and assessment. There we have given all the assessment parameters, all the validated scales which is available, so that, so if
Online with SPADI and OSS.
everything is available, that you have to search. We have just given, we have given the names. So if you are trying to document a case of adhesive capsulitis, definitely you have to follow SPADI. Okay. So if you do that, and if you are submitting your case, the reviewer, because I am associated to 2 journals, IGRH and another complementary medicine research journal, and I am also reviewer to many journals. So we always look in that angle, whether the author has taken all steps to justify his outcomes in terms of investigations, in terms of using some scales which can be usable, like some scales cannot be used by the things, but they are just writing it down. It may not be acceptable. So you have to see all the things, how much it is usable, and suppose a case comes to you of adhesive capsulitis, at the first go you thought I should document it. So from that day onwards, you have to follow that entire case for 6 months, 8 months, 1 year. If you systematically follow, it will be easy for you to document it and publish it. So everyone can publish, because we are all educated. You are not that I am different and you are different. I am doing my quota of work, you are doing your quota of work. But when it comes to research acumen and research documentation, you can contribute, I can contribute. Sometimes you need to have more efforts, I need to have less efforts, because I am working on that only. Maybe if I am now in your seat, I will take some time to see the cases, to gain my experience, because I am into 10-15 years into research only, as a methodologist, as a trialist. If we exchange our seats, definitely you will take your own time, I will take my own time. That is true for everyone. That is true for each and everyone we are sitting here. So that's why there is always convergence is required at every sphere. So referral criteria, everything the same as we discussed earlier, and these are the various yoga asanas. Because I have shown this picture intentionally for all the STGs, because these are the common yoga asanas which we prescribe to the patient for their day-to-day practice. But the names has been clearly outlined here. And if you can go to the MD&Y site, Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga, CCR1 site, you will get all videos also. And definitely now the International Yoga Day is coming up. You have a yoga protocol which is published by Ministry of Ayush. It is 30-40 pages document. It is already downloadable. You can download, you can see, you can practice one asana a day, so that you have a understanding and how you are going to sensitize your patient, advise your patient. The thing is that, so it's all practice, dedicated time for that. So at the level 2, we will be going for X-ray, further magnetic resonance imaging investigations, and some physiotherapy, and all the diet, restricted diet, everything as per the level 1. And level 3, again as I told you, we have already targeted in the first level for common polycrest medicines. Whereas in the level 3, we are level 2, we are silent, and we always ask the physicians to follow what is given in the level 1. When it comes to level 3, we have given some more specific medicines like granatum, Myrica cerifera, Natrum ars, Radium Rome. This is some unique medicines which is not usually practiced. But if it is written here, at least the physician can see, they can refer the books, they can read the indications, and they can make a habit of prescribing in their day-to-day practices. So this is the end of this STGs, but because we are sitting here, I thought why not give some indications if required, but definitely we are out of time. I think 3:30, 10 minutes is there. Okay. So indications of common homeopathic medicines for musculoskeletal disorders. See, this is the Nash trio of rheumatism. If we talk of rheumatism in general, but today's literature they somewhat focus on rheumatoid arthritis is equivalent to rheumatism. But if we talk of homeopathy in general, rheumatism can be any type of joint disorder. So basing on that, these are the 3 medicines: sulfur, Rustox, causticum, which is trio, because Nash trios we usually follow in our practice, cognates, trios. So this is one of the Nash trios, which is, if you are using, suppose you have a case of rheumatoid arthritis, you thought of prescribing sulfur. Sulfur to some extent improved, after that it is not improving. You can think of Rustox, or Rustox you have prescribed sulfur. Likewise, if you can document on this trio, this is what will be generating evidence. This is written in the textbooks, but how much clinically with supportive evidence we are telling, yes, this trio is perfect. Are we able to showcase? No. We are reading the literature. हमने Rustox दिया, कुछ ठीक हुआ, फिर सल्फर दिया, कुछ ठीक हुआ, फिर causticum. क्या ये 3 ट्रायो अगर हम देते हैं इन अ सिस्टमैटिकली रेगुलर इंटरवल्स, क्या पेशेंट और बेटर होता है? क्या रस्टॉक्स से खाली होता है? क्या सल्फर से खाली होता है? देयर आर डिफरेंट परम्यूटेशन कॉम्बिनेशंस टू डू रिसर्च. रिसर्च इज नेवर एंडिंग. आई विल टेल, रिसर्च इज नेवर एंडिंग. अगर रिसर्च एंड हो जाता, आज तक 3rd जनरेशन 4th जनरेशन एंटीबायोटिक्स आ रहे हैं. क्यों आ रहे हैं? 3rd जनरेशन 4th जनरेशन OHA आ रहे हैं. क्यों आ रहे हैं? बिकॉज दैट इज़ नॉट सफिशिएंट. And with now evolving antimicrobial resistance, it is again another challenge and threat to the society. कोई भी resistant हो जाता है. In that case, homeopathy has a tremendous things to contribute, but we have to document. You cannot tell everything, सब कुछ उठा के CCRH को बोल दिया, CCRH तो रिसर्च बॉडी है, करे जो मर्जी करे, हमें क्या पड़ी है. That cannot be. We have, as an individual, we have, each one has equal responsibility for the profession, for homeopathy. आप डॉक्यूमेंट करो, कुछ भी करो. 8th शुरू तो करो कहीं पे, शुरू तो कर सकते हैं ना, या नहीं कर सकते? शुरू करो कहीं पे.
For doing case studies.
For doing, हाँ हाँ.
IJRH, what it expects as a evidence, as an
See,
evidence?
for case publishing, we have home case guidelines. आप गूगल करोगे, we have home case guidelines. HOM, homeopathy case guidelines, reporting case guidelines. ये है कल होम्योपैथी के लिए. दूसरा है केयर गाइडलाइंस, केस रिपोर्टिंग गाइडलाइंस. ये एलोपैथी के लिए भी है. इट इज़ नॉट फॉर होम्योपैथी ओनली. केयर गाइडलाइंस इज यूनिवर्सल फॉर ऑल टाइप ऑफ. एंड होम्योपैथी गाइडलाइंस में स्पेसिफिक एक्सटेंशन है. जब हम होम्योपैथी के केस को रिपोर्ट करते हैं, कुछ अलग पैरामीटर्स भी उसको इन्वॉल्व करना होता है. दैट गाइडलाइंस यू हैव टू फर्स्ट फॉलो, यू हैव टू गो थ्रू. हमें क्या क्या चाहिए उसमें चेकलिस्ट है. सपोज आपको वीसा किसने अप्लाई किया है पासपोर्ट के लिए, आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ देम हैव डन. उसमें भी तो चेकलिस्ट होता है ना. फॉर एवरीथिंग देयर इज अ चेकलिस्ट. इसमें भी वैसे चेकलिस्ट है.
It is available on.
यस, इट इज़ अवेलेबल ऑनलाइन. ठीक है, आप उसको फॉलो कीजिए. फॉलो करके चेकलिस्ट देखिएगा. इंट्रोडक्शन मेरा है, क्लिनिकल फाइंडिंग्स है, आउटकम्स है, फॉलोअप्स मैंने किया हुआ है. क्या मैं सोच सकता हूँ बिकॉज ऑफ दिस मेडिसिन ये केस इम्प्रूव हुआ है. फॉर दैट वी हैव मोनार्क गाइडलाइंस. तो मैनी थिंग्स आर देयर. जब एक आप फर्स्ट स्टेप इज स्टार्टिंग इज ऑलवेज अ प्रॉब्लम सर फॉर एवरी वन. एम आई करेक्ट? स्टार्टिंग इज ऑलवेज अ प्रॉब्लम, बट वंस वी स्टार्ट एंड गियर अप वी डोंट नो व्हेन विल रीच द एंड. तो वो पहला स्टेप आप लोगों को उठाना पड़ेगा. जब आप उठाओगे तभी हम इन सब को फॉलो कर सकते हैं. बहुत हेल्दी वे में भी फॉलो कर सकते हैं. ग्लिचेस तो आएंगे, ग्लिचेस आएंगे. अभी सर्दियाँ देखो ना, सर्दियाँ हुई, स्कूटी खड़ा करा है, स्कूटी को स्टार्ट करने के लिए कितने बार क्लिक करना पड़ता है? 3 बार 4 बार, जब जाके स्टार्ट होता है. तो फॉर एवरीथिंग देयर इज अ स्टार्टिंग प्रॉब्लम, देयर इज अ ट्रबल्स, देयर आर ग्लिचेस, बट वी हैव टू ओवरकम इट. दैट ऑल आई कैन से. And these are the various indications of around 70 drugs, and may not be the possible to read out all the indications, and we are very well aware of. This is like a ready reckoner which you have given, and it is all from Boric, not from any other books. Boric and Keynote Materia Medica, which is being commonly used in our desktop. So वही सब देख के किया हुआ है. हाँ जी, प्रेजेंटेशन मिल जाएगा आपको, नो प्रॉब्लम. सो ये सारे इंडिकेशंस लिखा हुआ है. कोशिश किया है कि इम्पॉर्टेंट इंडिकेशंस, बिकॉज इट इज़ ऑल रिलेटेड टू योर मस्कुलोस्केलेटल. देयर इज़ नो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. कहीं कहीं पर हमने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल इंडिकेशंस दिए हैं, बट ऑल रिलेटेड टू स्पेसिफिक टू मस्कुलोस्केलेटल कंडीशंस ओनली. So these can be, you can have the presentation, you can see as a ready reckoner, all are welcome, but we need to do our best to substantiate, to prove, improve and to make homeopathy more simple. जब सब लोग contribute करेंगे ना, definitely हम ये standard guidelines को ना और अच्छा बना सकते हैं और improve करके आपके सामने एक और अच्छा platter पेश कर सकते हैं. But this is our first attempt. So I think जब आप इसको पढ़ेंगे, आप अपने लेवल से एज ए मास्टर ट्रेनर दूसरों को इम्पार्ट करने की कोशिश करेंगे, यू विल फेस मैनी क्वेश्चंस. जैसे आप हमें पूछ रहे हो ना, आपको भी कोई वैसे ही पूछ सकता है. एम आई राइट? तो आप प्लीज़ वो नोट डाउन कीजिए. यू सेंड अस टू DGHS या CCRH को भी भेजिए. जब हम इसके ऊपर दोबारा बैठेंगे ना, विल थिंक ऑफ ऑल दोज थिंग्स, बेस्ट इनकॉर्पोरेट कैसे किया जाए. नहीं तो कोई 6 दे के ठीक करता है, कोई 12 पोटेंसी दे के ठीक करता है, कोई 10M कैंट तो 10M 20 देता ही रहता है, और दूसरी जगह बर्नेट है लो पोटेंसी देता है. तो देर आर डिफरेंट स्केल्स, डिफरेंट स्कूल्स. इंडिया में ही देख लो कितने सारे स्कूल्स हैं, है कि नहीं. सो देर आर मैनी थिंग्स. सो टू अवॉइड ऑल कॉन्ट्रोवर्सीज वी हैव नॉट टच्ड द yes. So there are different controversies, everything. Avoiding all controversies, we try to give the best platter to you. CCRH has found many things. I told you scientific framework in homeopathy. देखो, see, to bring skepticism, to bring critics, there are many, and it is never ending. CCRH ने जो किया है ना, वो CCRH कर रहा है. उसको explanation देने की इस प्लेटफॉर्म में इस टाइम पे मुझे देने की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है. आप जो बोल रहे हो ना, दैट इज समवॉट एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं होगा मुझे, बिकॉज CCRH इज डूइंग टू मेनी कोलैबोरेशन. CCRH इज डूइंग ट्राइंग टू डू वेरी गुड रिसर्च एंड पब्लिश भी कर रहा है. हाँ जी, वो कर ही नहीं सकता. इट इज नॉट बियॉन्ड द प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ होम्योपैथी. इट इज़ बियॉन्ड द प्रिंसिपल्स। आप करके दिखाओ, आप करो ना, आप सुनो मेरी बात सुनो, आप करो, यू आर ए गुड प्रैक्टिशनर, आप करो। एक ग्रुप को आप 60 देते रहो, एज योर क्लिनिकल एक्सपीरियंस, दूसरे को 30 देते रहो, ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड आप रिपोर्ट करो ना। CCRH क्या कर रहा है, क्या करे मत पूछो, एज ए प्रैक्टिशनर आप क्या कर सकते हो बताओ। एंड CCRH ऑलवेज रेडी टू कोलैबोरेट, टू शेक हैंड्स विथ यू। आप कुछ तो इनोवेशन लाओ। हम भाई बोले ना 3 लाख डॉक्टर्स है, CCRH 100 है, आप क्या सोच सकते हो। CCRH क्या कर रहा है, क्या नहीं कर रहा, CCRH कर रहा है। CCRH ने एन्सेफेलाइटिस में काम किया है, CCRH ने बोस इंस्टीट्यूट्स के साथ मिलके डिड ट्रॉपिकल ऑफ मेडिसिन, स्कूल ऑफ ट्रॉपिकल मेडिसिन के साथ मिलके बहुत अच्छा काम किया है, प्री क्लिनिकल स्टडीज़ किया है। CCRH ने कोविड में बहुत अच्छा काम किया है। इतने सारे आज सपोर्टिव डॉक्यूमेंट CCRH का है। अन आर्सेनिक
कोविड का could you please narrate some examples?
क्या
CCRH ने क्या किया है?
आप-
Second issue is regarding right to information. We can ask you anything.
आस्क करो ना, हु इज टेलिंग यू नो, आप पूछे, यू आर ऑलवेज
We cannot ask.
सी वॉट एवर CCRH has done in COVID, it is all published, it is not kept inside the almirah, it is all published. अगर आप अपने आप को एजुकेट नहीं करोगे, नहीं देखोगे, आप हमेशा बोलोगे CCRH ने क्या किया है।
We have faced so many problems during the COVID. We were working day and nights, and from the CCRH and other government machinery, nothing has been helped to us.
Sis,
Nobody
वो-
has helped us.
CCRH का काम नहीं है, वो आपका स्टेट इशू है, स्टेट को फॉलो करना पड़ेगा। आप मुझे मत बोलो, आप देखो CCRH ने, yes CCRH has done, CCRH has given,
Discussion later.
CCRH has given all the guidelines advisory through their SAB to prescribe arsenic as a prophylactic, और उसके लिए उसने साइंटिफिक एविडेंस भी गैदर किया है विच इज़ बीन पब्लिश्ड इन वेरी गुड जर्नल्स। आपने देखे हो, बिना देखे पहले अपने डाटा गैदर करो, फिर पूछो CCRH क्या कर रहा है। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर योर पेशेंट लिसनिंग।
We are lacking in documentation. So at facility level or individual practitioner, if they try to keep their documentation proper and you orient, as I mentioned that I had done an orientation session for consultants and I showed my cases before and after with evidence, and that was the eye-opening for them, and then they started referring patients.
See,
this is what I wanted to just say.
I have answer for this. I have the answer. Each and everything what you asked, I have the answer.
I'm
You are.
telling you-
That's what I'm asking. I'm what answer I'm telling is not in a constructive. It is in a constructive way. ठीक है? Being a doctor, we have dedicated 5.5 years to educate ourselves as a degree holders, right? And thereafter, if you are getting past the AEGPT for PG, MD, again we are dedicating around 4 years, almost 3 years to 4 years to doing the MD. Thereafter we are struggling for getting a good job, right? After that job we are trying to settle. But सब दिल पे हाथ रख के बोलो, MD सिंसियरली किसने किया है? कितनों ने MD में प्रॉपर रिसर्च को देखा है? जो देखा है उनको पता है अपने आप को अपडेट कैसे रखा जाता है। I will request everyone in this era of internet, सबके हाथ में मोबाइल है, इट इज़ अ मिनी कंप्यूटर, राइट? सब लोग व्हाट्सएप तो देखते हैं, इंसर्ट्स भी देखते हैं, रील्स भी देखते हैं, एम आई राइट? कितने लोग रिसर्च एविडेंसेस देखते हैं होम्योपैथी का? वो देखते हैं। अपने आप को हाफ एन आवर दीजिए, अपडेट कीजिए, साथ में आप जो अपने काउंटर पार्ट है उसको लेके देखिएगा। जस्ट ट्राई टू, आप तो बढ़िया कर रहे हो कि आपने शोकेस कर रहे हो, साथ में जो भी लिटरेचर एविडेंस है उसको भी आपको उसके साथ उनको बोलेंगे ना, दैट विल डेफिनेटली इम्प्रेस। देखो इतना ही बोल सकते हैं, बट एवरीथिंग कैन नॉट बी स्पून फेड।
Coming 2 volume. This one.
ये पुराना वर्जन है,
Oh.
अभी ये 4 वॉल्यूम्स हो गए,
4 volumes होगा ना?
कवरिंग 66 क्लिनिकल कंडीशन।
अच्छा.
इसी का हमारा ऐप भी बना हुआ है, ये तो इनिशियल वर्जन
हाँ,
है,
initial
ये इम्प्रूव्ड है।
प्लीज मेरा मैं आई एम नॉट मतलब ये नहीं करी, मेरा बस एक रिक्वेस्ट था और मेरे को बहुत हमको दिल पे दर्द हुआ और हमने आपको भी पता हमने कितना कोविड में काम भी किया
हाँ।
है, पूरे देश ने किया है। क्या CCRH ने PMO ऑफिस में कभी बोला आर्सेनिक एल्बम का नाम लीजिए पटल से?
देखो PMO ऑफिस को
नहीं,
बोल,
नहीं, नहीं,
मैं बोलूं?
ऐसा नहीं बोल रही, मैं तो
नहीं, मैं बोल,
प्रोटोकॉल का नहीं
आप मेरी जवाब तो सुनिए। पीएम ऑफिस को बोले CCL इज नो राइट टू टेल टू पीएम ऑफिस, इट इज लिसन, इट इज थ्रू मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ आयुष। हमने हर एक एविडेंस मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ आयुष को दिया है, इट इज द परव्यू ऑफ मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ आयुष।